Hello, welcome back. So, we'll do this again. Let's talk. Let's have one more chat about a few things as my dog walks past with its clackety little nails and perhaps asks to go to the bathroom. It's really unsure what it's going to do. We'll see. We may stop this part of the way through. Either way, welcome, guys. Welcome back. So, what I want to talk about today is something that we harp on regularly in Infinite Quality, and I want to talk about it again because it's so incredibly important, and I can't say it enough. We probably are about to do a podcast on it or have done a podcast on it. I know we touched about it in our last podcast, but it's difficult with so many voices to really emphasize things rightly and to answer questions, and it is a constant thing that I get messages from people. Game selection. I want to talk about game selection. I have done exceedingly well in game selection with my time on Twitch. We have pretty much selected everything right except for maybe one game, and we did it once, and actually we learned a lot of stuff from that experience as well. So it wasn't necessarily a mistake. It would have been a mistake to do it a second time. But I want to talk about game selection. This is one of those things that I could just go ham and be like, don't play this game, don't play this game, don't play this game. But for most of you who are going to be hearing this, you either have caught us on stream or you are part of Infinite Quality and you've been told to come and see this video. Either way, you're getting into it. I want to be careful the way I say this because somebody right away at the same time will tell me I'm wrong. Your game, your ability to select games is dictated by your minimum viewership. And what I mean by minimum viewership is the lowest number of people who are going to show up to your stream if you are 15 minutes into your stream. If you show up 15, maybe 30 minutes max into your stream, if you're playing some random game, let's say you go play DeResonate, which we did, and DeResonate for my viewers was a perfect decision because we needed to play it because it's a beautiful game and we all love From Software games. But maybe that's not you. Maybe you play Fortnite all the time and you load up DeResonate. How many people are going to show up and stay on your stream? It's a weird VR game and nobody's playing it. It's kind of boring if you're not into those style of games. Even for a VR game, it's not super impressive unless you're really into that author's writing style. Or maybe you pull up some old retro. Maybe you're playing Metroid, anything, just some random game that is completely different than your normal game. How many people are staying? How many viewers of yours are there? Is it none? Is it 5? Is it 20? Is it 75? That dictates the game you can play. And what I mean by that is, let's say hypothetically, you have 5 friends who come to your stream. One of them's your mom, one's your dad, and then you got like 3 dudes who are going to come in and hang out in your stream to support you. You know you have 5 people showing up. Well, you can figure out, you can scroll down whatever games list you're on and figure out where the 5s end. Not where the 5s start, where the 5s end. I say that because if you're playing Call of Duty or Fortnite or any of the big ones, PUBG, when you find 5 viewers, well, you're probably not going to be on top of that list. There's other factors in play. You just assume you're at the bottom of that list. How far down are you? Is anybody going to discover you through Twitch? And the answer is most likely no, it's not going to happen. So what you need to do is you need to find a game that, with 5 viewers, puts you in the top 10, 15 at the most. If you have all the other factors in play right, then maybe 15. but you need to be in the top 10 if you don't have a perfect title, if you don't know the other factors I'm talking about, if you don't understand the details of preview images and tags. You need to be in the top 10. That's where you want to aim. 10 to 15. It'd be nicer if you're higher. And so inevitably when I say that to people, they say, well, I'm a Fortnite streamer. Well, then you're not going to grow. You might, over the course of a year, get a couple hundred follows, maybe. And you might have to work your butt off to get those. And you know what? Most of those are going to come from other places, if we're honest. It might come from Facebook. It might be because you told some other person about it. It might be because you popped in someone else's stream and they decided to check you out. And then at the end of that year, how many people are still watching? Let's say you are, we can use Fortnite because it's huge, not because I dislike it. I actually think it's a very cool game. I just can't play it. It's not my thing. But let's say hypothetically, you've been streaming for a year. And even let's just say you're extremely lucky and somehow magically get 1,000 follows in a year on Fortnite. If at the end of the year you still have only 5 to 10 viewers at a time regularly, and I'm not talking about those days where you got a raid and you got pushed up to 15 or 30 or 40. I mean, your average viewership, if it's still 5 to 10, you are failing Twitch. You are not succeeding. No matter how much you want to tell yourself you are, when you're streaming 8 hours a day to 5 people, you are not succeeding. You're not winning the Twitch game. And I want you to win the Twitch game. I want that badly because it feels so good to see you guys win it. And so what the most valuable piece of information, and I'll reference this again, the most valuable piece of information you can have is what is your minimum viewership? Who is bought into you? If you go play, what do we play? We played I don't even remember the name of it. It was some VR game that was supposed to be awesome. And the developers bragged about this story that was supposed to be great, and so we went and played it. And you know what? Out of my normal viewers, 20 people showed up and stayed. And we all knew the game sucked. But I had 20 people. And for me, no, stop. No, stop. Stop it. Animals. So for me, that piece of information was the most valuable thing I could have learned. I know 20 people are going to show up and stay. And more people will show up and stay if the game is good, or if I'm getting to reference another thing that I said in a previous video, if I'm working my product right, I'll have 20 people there plus some other regulars who will stay to see the normal show. And so what that says to me is I can look down the list and I can look at games that 20 puts me in the top 10. I like to aim for top 5 to 10. And I can pick those games. So that opens up an entirely new level of games that I can play. Can I play Call of Duty? No. No. I won't be found. And I know that. But I can play, well, during Halloween, I could play Alien Isolation. That was great. I knew I could play it. Because I knew I would have a minimum amount of people show up, which would put me in a certain position, and that would allow me to grow and meet new people. You have to select growth games. If you are not growing, you are not twitching right. If you are playing Twitch, or if you are streaming on Twitch and you're not growing, you might as well just be playing at home off the internet. That's it. Twitch, when you stream a lot, has a component that damages your mental health. And if you are streaming and not succeeding, then that's a challenge that you may not be prepared for, or you shouldn't put yourself through. So you need to put yourself in places for success. And so very, very often people will text me or message me through all the channels and be like, hey, is this game okay for me? And I'll ask, what's your minimum viewership? And so what I would say with this little chat, learn what your minimum viewership is, and not necessarily test it, but really think about, if you're streaming 8 hours a day, who's usually there? Is it 3 people? How long have you been streaming? And I reference again, if you've streamed for a year and you're still playing to 5 people, you need to change your game. There's probably other stuff you need to change too, and I hope that you're involved with Infinite Quality, and I hope you listen to the other stuff we say, the podcasts, the write-ups, that you're using the tools, that you're looking at the things that we're posting for you guys to bring you success. But you gotta change your game. That's gonna be a huge thing. So I hope that makes sense. We can do examples, but the examples are probably going to be better fit for the podcast. Learn your minimum viewership, learn what you can play, and then I think the only other thing I want to say about this is the response to people very often is, well, I don't get, you're telling me that I don't get to play what I love. And I think I want to close this off by saying that you don't have to play what you love. Just learn to love what you play. And I hope that drives this point home. Video games are actually fun. And with Twitch, there's other people there, and they have found you through a browse menu on a game they want to see. So they're ready to have some fun, which means somebody can enjoy that game, which means it's likely you can. And if you can't enjoy the game, well, guess what? It's not like there's only one game you can play. I mean, if you have 1 or 2 viewers regularly, you only have 1 or 2 regular viewers, well, there's still tons of games you can play. Go find a game that has 10 people, 10 different streamers playing it. And if the top streamer is, say, above 20 viewers and the next streamer is maybe 10, guess what? That's a game you should play. There's a whole list of games that I could recommend, and that I do recommend regularly on the IQ Discord. Whenever I see a game for new streamers, I recommend it to people, especially if they're free and cheap. But there are tons of games for streamers who have no viewership. Tons. And so you just have to find them, or you have to ask. And so I will close this off by saying one more time that phrase that I want you to understand. You don't have to play what you love. Just love what you play. If you need help picking a game, if you need help selecting it, and my rules don't make sense, I can expound more. You'll see it on IQ, or feel free to ask me through Twitch. I would welcome that. I welcome all messages, especially short questions like that. I can tell. I will ask you what your minimum viewership is, and then I will tell you some games that you can play that I think would be great for growth. So again, I welcome those. Please chat me up. Hopefully I talk to you guys soon, and we'll do this again. Goodbye.